everybody, I'm Jammer, and today let's take a closer look at the latest Breath of the Wild trailer and the map that comes with the Collector's Edition. Now, they showed this off during the live stream the following day after the Switch presentation, and Reggie was going over it and flipping it around. Front side was a map. They said the backside tells the story of Calamity Ganon. Now, from what we see, it's kind of hard to draw concrete conclusions about exactly what story it's really telling, but there is a very interesting detail about this picture. Now, if you'll notice, in each four of these corners is a giant beast almost close to the size of Calamity Ganon itself. And so, previously we had heard a while back the rumor that there's going to be 4 main dungeons and a bunch of different little mini dungeons throughout the whole land. So maybe going along with this rumor, we could see that these 4 creatures in each corner could potentially be our 4 main dungeon bosses before you fight Calamity Ganon. And what's interesting is this is not the first time we've seen all these creatures. For example, if we start on the left side, on the upper right, we see a giant bird, which is pretty much identical to the previous trailers of this, where they showed off that flying fortress in the sky. At first, I don't know, I thought this was just an area or maybe a place where the bird people lived or something, but this could maybe indicate that this actually could be an actual boss. Supporting as the fact of the lighting difference. Now, for example, in the zoomed out scene, the lights on it look to be blue, but while it zooms in, it's actually showing a glowing red hue, which throughout this game has indicated that this whatever creature you're about to fight is bad, such as like guardians or whatever. So if this could be a boss, that'd be insane. Could you imagine running across this giant freaking bird, trying to take it down, and then without crashing, or I don't know, it'd be really a very interesting type of boss. So then moving along, the next one looks to be, I don't know, some sort of camel thing or whatever. So in the latest trailer, we saw a brief glimpse of it, just really its legs kind of just stomping around, which is just as interesting as the last one because, again, this boss isn't locked away in some room in a dungeon. This looks to be on the main level of Hyrule. For example, like how the bird one was in the sky, obviously this one just looks like it's in the middle of the desert. And again, if we go to the next one at the top right of the map, which looks to be some sort of lizard or gecko or whatever, we see that in the latest trailer as well, and this thing's climbing along the side of Death Mountain. At least we get reference to where this boss is. It's safe to bet that this boss will be the dungeon boss of whatever dungeon's near or at Death Mountain. But again, like I mentioned, what is very interesting is all what we've seen so far are outside locations, not deep down in a dungeon, not kind of locked away into a separate room like normal dungeon fights are. These ones are all on the overworld of Hyrule, which is very interesting to see how this could affect the gameplay and maybe even the world itself. Now finally, if we go back to the map real quick, we look at the right bottom side, we see some sort of like woolly mammoth looking thing. As far as I can tell, I've looked through a bunch of different trailers, footage, and I could not find anything that really looked like it. I mean, this scene right here looks kinda like the shape. I mean, guess this thing on the left could maybe be that trunk of it, but at the same time, that looks more like a building than anything else, or maybe it could be actually this little woolly mammoth we've been looking for. So potentially, the woolly mammoth thing could be the boss of the snow area. The bird thing could maybe be your first boss in the plateau area. We could see Death Mountain being the big lizard guy, and then the camel thing be the boss of the desert area. So I'm not 100% sure on maybe the order of these or whatever. And actually, I'm kind of more feeling that this game might be you could play any of these dungeons in any order. So they might need no particular order in which ones you have to take these on, which would be great. Change up, and I mean it's very similar to how the original Legend of Zelda on the NES was. Another thing I'd like to mention, you've probably noticed when looking at this map, each of these 4 bosses have a little humanoid character sitting on top of it, kind of commanding it, looks like. It's very prominent to see on the mammoth one and the lizard one especially. So far, I'm not really sure who these could be. They obviously are probably manning these giant machines. There was this character that showed up in the most recent trailer that kind of looks a little similar to one of these guys, but whether it is him or not, I'm not too sure. I mean, personally, he kind of looks like just a mini-boss to me, or maybe from the looks of the background, maybe he's inside that woolly mammoth machine, especially since his mask looks to kind of have tusk on it. From everything you've seen, he's the closest match to at least the size and shape of what these characters kind of look like. What they really are, I have no clue. We probably won't know until the game comes out. So before we wrap things up, let's just take a look at the middle of the map, where you see obviously Calamity Ganon surrounded by probably hundreds, of guardians, and then of course on his right is Ganondorf himself, wielding a sword or whatever. But what's interesting is on the left side is a blonde-haired person wearing maybe like a white kind of robe or maybe dress, and it looks like between their hands while they're praying, there's like a little glow coming out of it. And I don't know, I could be crazy, I don't know, but that might be Zelda. So they're saying this is telling the story of Calamity Ganon, and what if, like I predicted before, the Guardians were all good guys and built by the goddesses to stop Calamity Ganon? And let's say these giant bosses, like we've been saying before, had the blue glowing potentially being good at one point. So what if they're actually all teaming up, maybe try to take down Calamity Ganon, for example, and then let's say Ganondorf ended up betraying them all and absorbing into Calamity Ganon, thus taking over all the rest of the machinery, and, you know, maybe that's what happened all those 100 years ago. I don't know, totally spitballing it. It could be really anything. That's just really my hypothesis, I guess, to maybe what this map is trying to tell. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about this map? And of course, the bosses themselves. I mean, it's really interesting that we potentially won't be fighting these in closed off areas, kind of like that one Guardian fight in the original E3 trailer where they're running through, you know, Hyrule Field. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Be sure to give this video a huge, awesome like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for tons on Breath of the Wild, the Nintendo Switch, and just tons of Nintendo-related content. Thank you guys for being patient with this. I was, you know, this last weekend, like you guys have known, I've been really sick, so I really tried hard. I've been watching a lot of trailer footage, and I've been analyzing stuff, of course, but obviously I haven't made any videos, and it's because I'm just trying to take it easy to get better. And hey, how do I sound? I'm not a sore throat. I have like barely a cough left at this point, so I think that did the trick, taking it nice and easy this weekend. So be sure to stay tuned for more stuff on Zelda. I actually have another theory video coming out about the flower, and I'll talk to you more about it maybe later this week, or maybe weekend, I'm not sure just yet. Then of course stay tuned for the Fire Emblem Direct tomorrow. I'll definitely do a little impressions video on all they're going to show off there, probably be the Warriors game and the mobile app, and we'll see it all then and have a lot of fun. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya!